Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Rodney, and I'm back. And I wanted to talk about the Real Housewives of New York. you know, this season I had high hopes for the Real Housewives of New York. Last season, the first season, I thought it was a decent season. I really, really did. I was like, okay, this is cute. New group of girls. I had never watched New York before then. Um, So I was like, okay, a new group of girls. This is cute. Nothing too over the top, nothing too salacious. Girl, they're basically arguing about cheese and caviar, you know. Um, and then this season started out, and I was like, okay. And then it just kind of went downhill from there, and I just couldn't. And I also was reviewing the show, and I was just like, oh, girl, this is really. It was just a lot of things that I didn't like the fact that well it looked like a fact to me where they were producing them. You could literally see them producing the scenes. Like, girl, what are we doing? Um, and then I just kind of tapped out of it. And then when I saw the mid-season trailer, I was like, oh, I was like, oh, things look like they're picking up. Um, and then when all this mess hit the fan, I was like, okay, girl, I got to go back and finish watching. The end of the season and the reunion, I feel like went out with a bang. I don't like the way that things played out, right? And it sounds messy because this really shouldn't be entertaining. However, girl, um, we watched. Some of us watched. Uh, but the reunion I thought was good. And I know a lot of you have been screaming this from the mountaintops. They probably would do better. I know money wise they probably won't, but they probably would do better when if they make these reunions into two parts. I feel like if they made unless you just have so much footage and so much mess that happened throughout the season to stretch it into three parts. But I think I have noticed that when they make the reunions into two parts, it makes the reunion so much better. Because usually one part of the reunion, especially if it's a three-part reunion, is usually just like a bunch of fluff. Like, girl, what are we doing? Okay, y'all just doing this for ad revenue. okay. you know? Um, so yeah. But I was okay with the reunion. I really was. Now who I've been disappointed with is Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. The season, phenomenal. The reunion, girl, throw it in the trash. New York, the season, a mess towards the end, it picked up. The reunion, I think is great. So here we are. Babe, we just gonna talk. Babe, want to tell you, Brian Whitfield. It's so crazy because Brian was one of my favorites. There's not really anyone I dislike on New York. But Brian, I was like, oh, Brian seems cool. Brian seems like a fun girl. Brian seems like a girl I would hang out with in real life, right? And then this season, it just, oh, Brian, girl, where did we go wrong? Tell me what went wrong. Girl, what did we go wrong, Brian? When I tell you, Brian is nuts, and I say that in the most loving way possible. Uber is delusional. Jenna, I want her to stop babying Bryn. She does it constantly, and it makes my skin crawl every time I look up. She's infantilizing Bryn, and I can't grasp why. Sai, I want Sai to stand in. I want Sai to be the bee that she really is, because Sai could really carry. But Sai is putting on for the viewers too. Sai really could. To me, Sai and Aaron could really run this whole show if they just stood in what they really are. okay. Anyways, I'm getting. Let's talk. Let's talk. I'll give a rundown of the girls at the end. Okay. Um. So Jessel and Bryn are going back and forth still. Jessel is very upset about what Bryn lied about. When I tell you, Bryn said that it was just a joke. It was just a cute joke. Bryn is one step away from being evil if she's not already there, girl. I think I'm saying one step away just to try to be nice. Bryn, Bryn knew exactly what she was doing. Again, some of you didn't watch the season. What they didn't show, I don't think they showed it at the reunion, but during the season, I watched every episode. When Bryn was having that conversation with the girls, I think they were at the pool. Bryn threw in that the man was black, and I think she intentionally did that to because she knew by adding that he was black, it would add a little sauce to the story. So now Jessel is pissed because Pavitt doesn't trust Jessel anymore. She said that she's always moved with integrity within her marriage. And Pavitt has always looked at her as a woman of integrity, right? Baby, baby Jessel said, I can't even go to the grocery store no more, girl. Girl, I look up, I'm trying to walk out the door. He looking at me like, where you going? So basically the trust is broken because of what Brienne describes as a cute little joke. Girl, play with your own life. Don't play with mine. Can you imagine? In real life, can you imagine you having the trust within your marriage where you do what you do, he does what he does, Pavitt can go to Vietnam and whatever, and there's no questions about whether or not you know what he's doing if it's out of order, right? My husband trusts me. I trust my husband. I get up and go, right? He gets up and go. Well, you know, we tell each other we're going, but you know, he'll go somewhere, I'll go somewhere, and it's nothing. We're not questioning how the other person is going to be moving because I'm not there. To go from that to basically now my husband doesn't trust me because of something that you said. They start to talk about the angry black woman. This is what I remember Bryn saying. Correct me if I'm wrong. I watch a lot of reality TV. Bryn said that she mentioned the whole angry black woman because Uba felt that that's how she would be portrayed and that it could potentially affect her relationship with Mr. Connecticut, right? So I guess when Uba started to, I guess, act in a way that would align her with being an angry black woman, Bryn then stepped in and basically was like, girl, you're going to look like the angry black woman. So I think Bryn initially tried to frame it as though she was doing Uba a favor by trying to let her know, girl, you're saying that you don't want to look this way, but girl, this is how you're starting to look. I remember Bryn saying something like, and I feel like I'm close to what Bryn said initially. Now, um, it sounds as though like Uba is saying that she never had that conversation with Brian. Uh, Brian says that she's a biracial woman who identifies as black. I can't listen. I'm not. I don't police people's blackness. I don't, or at least I try not to. I have biracial people in my family. My uncles have biracial kids. Okay. Um, so I know biracial people. Tracy Ellis Ross is a biracial woman who identifies as black. Holly Berry's is a biracial woman that identifies as black. Melissa Ford is a biracial woman who identifies as black. Claudia Jordan, I think Claudia Jordan is biracial. I believe so. Is a biracial woman who identifies as black. My cousins are biracial. They identify as black. And some of them, that's the only thing that quad is a scale. A few of them, that's the only thing they could pass for. Even if they told you they were biracial, you were probably like, oh, "No, you're not," because they look full blown niggerish. They look like me. Okay. Um, I feel like Bryn is a biracial woman who has been forced to say that she identifies as black due to society forcing the one drop rule on biracial folk. I don't think that Bryn really and truly deep down identifies as a black woman. I just don't. I think Bryn identifies as a white woman. I think Bryn says that she identifies as a black woman because that's what people expect her to say. If Bryn came out and said that I am a biracial woman, however I identify as white, people, I think a lot of black people, even the ones who don't watch the show, will be like, "Girl, please." Even though Bryn definitely could pass for a white woman. If Bryn went and got her a nasty, nasty, nasty perm, Bryn will be a white lady walking down the street. Bryn's giveaway is her hair. Mama gonna look like Mufasa. Okay. When that humidity hit Bryn's hair, that's Bryn's giveaway. Bryn says she identifies as black. The angry black woman on the cast is Bryn Whitfield. That's the angry black woman. It sounds like Bryn has been through a lot in her life. And she tries to mask that with jokes, being overly sexual, the pretend lesbian, the good girl, the fun girl. Let's go out for drinks. But deep down, and I'm not a therapist, I'm not no doctor, I'm just a nigga on YouTube talking shit. But I think deep down, Bryn is a damaged soul. I really do believe that. Uba is not the angry black woman. Bryn is the angry black woman. She says the backlash was hurtful. Brienne then tries to acknowledge that her being biracial, her experience is completely different than Uba's. I was like, okay, come on, Brienne. Baby, Uba says that I don't know what you're talking about. I don't have those experiences. I have an excellent experience. I haven't had a bad experience being black. I thought Uber was on. I cannot. Maybe this was girl. Maybe I'm getting her confused with somebody on America's Next Top Model years ago. Maybe I'm getting her confused with Tyra Banks. I don't know. I could have swore Uber. I could have swore Uber said that even as a model, that it's sometimes tough for her because of her being black. There's like some they only they only have room for like one black girl. I could have sworn Uber said that before on this show. I do think it's a tad bit strange that Uba, being a 6 foot dark skinned black woman, is saying that her life has been 100% fine. I don't believe it. I do believe this. Not to go into a whole rant. I believe I'm gonna make a separate video about this. That's what I think I'm gonna do because I feel like I understand what Uber might be trying to do, because it's how I kind of it's kind of how I live my life too. Uber might I'll try to make the short version of it. I think Uber might be trying to not put herself in constant victim mode. I do believe, and black people don't get mad at me. I do believe there are a group of black people out there who want to constantly be a victim and complain about them being black, about them being a black man, about them being a black woman. Girl, we get it, girl. We're black. We know, right? But I choose not to just live my life in constant victim mode. You don't know what you don't think I've had the same experiences being gay and black, nigga. But I'm choosing to try and make the best out of the situation. So Uba might be one of those people where she has experienced certain things, but she's not letting it overtake her life, if that makes sense. I choose to look at the positive instead of the negative. But I don't think, but Uba still loses me by trying to act like she hasn't experienced anything. You don't think I've experienced things being a black man? Maybe I had some little white boy call me a monster one time. Hello? And I was at work. You don't think I've experienced some things being gay? I have. From a little boy on up to now. But I try not to let it overtake my life. Right? I try not to live in constant victim mode. Uber says she get all her shit for free. Anyways, they take a break, and Bren is basically by herself. I feel like this is not right. I feel like I'm sitting. I don't know. It's been bothering me for the last 16 minutes and 47 seconds. I don't know why I felt like I was not sitting right. I don't know. Anyways, okay. Um, Jenna says that Bren talks in a fucking circle. This is what I think is happening with the group. I think that because they have built a friendship with Brian, they are friends with this girl. I think they can also call out Brian is a mess, but they also still have a soft spot for Brian because Brian is actually their friend. Does that make sense? It's just like us in a friend group. One of your friends makes a mistake and it's like, girl, you a hot ass mess. But then it's also like, damn, like that's still my sister, but damn, girl. And I feel like that's what's happening with the group. Like they know that Bren is a mess, but because this is their friend, they also still have a soft spot for Bren. Jenna, soft spot is this big though. Girl, size is this big. Okay? Size over Bren. Size says that Bren is a performative and the bitch needs an Oscar. I want Sa to stand. Sa already told us that she's a bitch. I really think Sa could be a good housewife if she stops putting on. I'm gonna go ahead and just get Sa out of the way. Sa could be a good housewife. She really could. If Sa just stood in that she's a bitch and said shit for what it was, what it is, Sa would be okay. But Sa is performing for the viewers. Sa did the same thing a lot of these girls do. Let me, after the first season, I'm going to come back, change up who I am, not necessarily go after the fan favorite, right? Say I'm in therapy for 4 months, get out of therapy to try to act like I've changed my ways. But deep down, I'm really still a bitch. Sa just live in it. And I really do believe that Sa and Aaron really could run the Super Girls if they just stood in their real ways and stopped trying to put on for the cameras. It is what it is. I really do believe that. Sa could make a good housewife, but Sa is putting on for Twitter. She is. Kenya is a good housewife because Kenya didn't give a damn what nobody said. She didn't give a damn that that Portia was a fan favorite. If her and Portia was gonna bump heads, I'm gonna bump heads with her. And it is what it is. I don't give a damn what nobody say on Twitter. Y'all get what I'm saying? Anyways, um, Jenna goes to talk to Brian, and she basically tells Brian that you're apologizing, but you're not. No, she said you're apologizing, but you're not acknowledging like what you're apologizing for. Brian does have that bad. I noticed that. She'll be like, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry." Like, okay, okay. But she doesn't want. Brian is just throwing out meaningless apologies, basically. It's just to say I'm sorry, but I really don't mean it because I don't even want to acknowledge what I'm apologizing for. Let me just say I'm sorry. Rebecca Minkoff comes out. They talk about Brienne taking a dig at Rebecca and her items, supposedly being at Nordstrom Rack. Let me say something. I worked at Nordstrom before. I bought my mama for Christmas a Rebecca Minkoff bag, believe it or not. Okay. So I know exactly who Rebecca Minkoff. I knew exactly who she was before she even came on the show because I bought my mom a Rebecca Minkoff. I think it was Midnight Blue, a handbag for Christmas. This was years ago. I do think it's Brienne. I, I don't like Brienne. Girl, I don't. It's not that I dislike Brienne. Maybe I don't like Brienne, and I'm trying to hang on to me liking Brienne. I don't know. Brienne just rubs me the wrong way. She really does. I think it is. I feel like I have a once I start liking the girls and they start to show me their ways, it's hard for me to like let them go. Girl, I be like, it be hard for me to let my girls go. Y'all know I'm still over here hanging on hanging on. Then I'm still over here hooked on Ashley Darby. Girl, I would not let Ashley Darby go. That's my girl. Girl, that's my girl. Um, but Brienne does play this game where like you can come for Rebecca and pretty much try and disrespect what she does because her saying her stuff is at Nordstrom Rack. Brienne is that's Brienne's way of saying in their language her shit is at Ross Dress for Less. You see what I'm saying? That's her way of saying her shit is at Marshalls. Her shit is at TJ Maxx. So that's her dig. But then if somebody questions what Brienne does for a living, how she makes her money, takes a dig at her life, then all of a sudden Brienne wants to have a fit. Remember Brienne told Aaron, don't mention my money or don't bring up my money or something like that. But you can make fun of what the other girls do. You tried to disrespect Uber and say all she does is model for Dressborn. You try and disrespect Rebecca Minkoff, but as soon as somebody disrespects you or questions how you get your goddamn money, and we still trying to figure it out, then all of a sudden, girl, it's a price to pay. Listen, I don't know anything about no Scientology. I'm not even gonna sit here and pretend I don't know a goddamn thing about it. Okay, I did hear that Tom Cruise. Girl, let me shut up. So I don't know anything about Scientology. I don't. I will say this: I have heard nothing but negative, weird things about it. That does not mean that it's true. Just because you hear something does not mean that it is true. But I have heard weird, negative things attached to Scientology. A part of me does believe that Rebecca just came on. She said it. She said that basically she's here to promote her brand, right? I think she said something. It was a flashback clip. I think she said something about I think during the pandemic, like her company suffered like 75%. It was something like that. This is what I think Rebecca Minkoff did. I think Rebecca Minkoff used the fact that she is a Scientologist to get on the show. But her goal was to never really open up about her personal life, nor open up about Scientology. Her ultimate goal was to just get on the show and try and promote her brand. So now she's trying to switch it up and act as if this is not the platform to discuss it and we can't do this and it takes so long to go through the ins and outs of it. Girl, I don't think that was ever her goal. I think that she came onto the show knowing that she was not going to discuss Scientology. However, she used it to get on the show. Rebecca, girl, please. However, um, I with Rebecca though, like she told Andy, you wouldn't be asking these questions if we were having a conversation about Muslims or Christianity. Girl, let me just say, and I'm gonna be done with it. The girls can sit out there and talk about Scientology all day long. But the way some of y'all act like y'all in cults at these church houses, As far as I'm concerned, it ain't no different. It ain't no different than Scientology. Baby, baby, hello, baby, I know how the girls act. Just go to one. Just go to a church on Sunday. Let Eddie Long or Jamal Bryant or one of these pastors come up and see how people run to protect girl to protect him. I'm just saying. At the end of the day, you can question, you can think it's weird, but in my honest opinion, girl, Scientology, as far as the people and how they behave, ain't no different than girl with how the other girls act and behave. Girl, quiet as it's kept, it all gives cult if you want to be honest about it. Anyways, um, Rebecca ends up leaving. It was a little awkward, girl. I guess it was a quick. Girl, she probably. It sounded like she was probably out there for about 15, 20 minutes. Girl. Uber. So they start talking about Uber. Listen, we got to be honest about all the girls on the stage. Uber is crass. She is. She's sometimes ignorant. She's sometimes insensitive. And she says things without thinking. And she thinks that because she said it. I'm just saying what I think. How did she say it? Let me make sure. Oh, Uber says I say how I basically I say how I feel. You can say how you feel and it still be considered insensitive. You can say how you feel and still get your ass cussed out. Uber, in the way that she acted in Puerto Rico, while it could have been the truth at what she was saying, that does not mean that it cannot come across as disrespectful. It's no different than someone, if you took someone to your hometown and all they had, not say all they had to say, but you heard them saying negative things, you would feel some type of way too. So Uber should have just kept some of those comments to herself. Even Uber saying what she said at the table with Aaron when she was saying something along the lines of like something was going on with the group, and she was like basically trying to say that we're living, we're breathing, and we should be happy about life. We could have a mom who's dying from cancer. Girl, that was too specific. When you know that your good sister mom has cancer. You see what I'm saying? It's shit like that where Uber really doesn't think. And when you say things like that, especially when there is a person in the group whose mom has cancer, you see, like, girl, like, girl. So a part of me feels like Uber does not intentionally say things to hurt folks' feelings. But then I'm gonna be honest with y'all, because of the way that because of the stances that Uber takes, and her saying that, girl, I just say how I feel, and I say what everybody else thinks. It's almost like Uber still doesn't give a damn. So Uber can say that she doesn't intentionally say things to hurt folks' feelings, but then it's also the flip side of it is even if you knew you were hurting someone's feelings, would you care? Because in your head, I'm just saying what everybody else is thinking, and I'm just saying how I feel. Does that make sense? What I'm saying? Uber full of shit too. Um, they talk about Uber and her. I keep saying Uber, Uber and her anger. Listen, we have to be honest. Uber does have a temper. She does. Some situations completely understandable though. Okay. But Uber does have an issue with her temper. Sai and Aaron said that they are not afraid of Uber. They just don't want to hear her goddamn mouth. I was like, that makes sense. You know how like you know how like you may want to say something to somebody, but if you say it, you know it's gonna be an all day. Like I don't even want to break. I don't even want to break. This bitch gonna go on for about 3 hours, and I don't even care. I think that's what it is. I really do. Um, Uber saying that Brian slept with someone. Uber was trying to explain and and draw an analogy. I didn't understand it. I know Andy was like, she was like, no, 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 don't look confused when Andy said I am. Let's just get down to Brandon Uber. Brandon is saying what happened. And she's also saying that she told the group that in her defense, maybe Uber didn't hear me. They start telling Bren, girl, you did not tell us that. Not at first, basically. You did not tell us that. Okay? And she starts saying, be careful. This is what Bren, when I tell you that Bren is a piece of that, when I tell you that Bren, it, I don't, girl, I don't, I really wish I want to hear what a real professional has to say about, I wish, is there a professional out there who has watched the last 2 episodes who could describe Bryn and her behavior? Because I feel like Bryn's behavior is very, very like, girl. I'll say this much: based off of what I've seen from Bryn over the last 2 seasons, now I would not want to be around a person like Bryn. I'm not being dramatic when I say this. Brienne does kind of give me dangerous tea. When I say dangerous tea, like girl, you could look up and she could say that you. Girl, let me shut up. She could say that you did some shit your ass ain't even did. I don't know. It's something about Brienne that just does not sit well with my spirits. Like I would not. I would be nervous to be around a girl like Brienne because I don't know what is about to happen. I don't think I've ever seen a girl on reality TV that I thought was as far as gone as I think that Brienne is. And girl, for me to say that, y'all know, girl, let me see. So I've said this, I'll say it again. There are some girls, boys on reality TV where I'm like, they just a hot ass mess. Like I think Portia is a hot ass mess. I do, but I also think that Portia has probably let the Bravo celebrity go to her head. You know what I'm saying? I think sometimes Portia can get caught up into the storylines. Does that make sense? What I'm saying? But like Brian, on the other hand, Brian gives me like in real life, Brian might be psychotic. Girl. Like I always go back and forth, like with Giselle. I always say this, like with Giselle. Giselle gives me like she's a mess. Giselle has her ways. But I don't know if I would say Giselle, like I don't know if I would be just nervous to hang around Giselle. You know what I'm saying? Like Brian will make me nervous. Like I'm like, I don't know, this bitch is crazy. No, Brian is diabolical, girl. Um, Brian says, I remember y'all didn't come and hug me. And you wanted to know who he was, how rich he was. Bitch, they all said Brian is lying. They was like, Brian, you that when I tell you what Brian has I don't know. I was not there. But it sounds like Brian has created a story in her head. And this I say this with all the love. I mean no disrespect. I feel like this is what happens sometimes, like, for example, with not to go backwards, but like on Married to Medicine, the latest episode, I feel there are people out there who have created this scenario in their head of what they want it to happen, and they're not going off of what actually happened. I feel like Brienne is making up this scenario in her head of what she wanted to happen, but girl, there are too many bitches on the stage saying that bitch, you telling a goddamn lie. And It's hard for me to believe Brienne when every other woman on the stage is saying, Brienne, that did not happen. It would be one thing if it was torn down the middle and it was, but Brienne, it's literally Brienne over here and all the other girls saying, Brienne, ain't none of this shit that you saying happen, bitch. So I have no choice but to believe this side because, girl, it's all these girls and it's just you. Brienne, that shit did not happen. Brienne, maybe that happened with somebody else. You know how I say sometimes God watch a lot of reality TV, so I might have it confused. Maybe Brienne did have that conversation, but it just didn't happen in this group of women. Maybe you had that conversation with somebody and you're getting the girls confused. She says you're holding me. She said y'all are holding me accountable for every goddamn word. Bitch, you damn sure right. Let me tell you something. I think it's one thing when we're talking about something very trivial, and it could be something like, "Oh, girl, Keisha and Ashley got into a fight. Girl, they started drinking. Ashley started talking shit. Keisha started talking shit, and then girl, drinks started flying." At that point, we really ain't got to know every word of what happened, every single detail, because But a situation like this, the gravity of this situation, absolutely, we are going to hang on to almost every word that you say because in this scenario, bitch, it matters. It matters. It does. In this scenario, what you say matters. Some bullshit, some other shit, another situation, we might not have to hang on to every word that you said. But in this scenario, yes. Yes. Yes, absolutely. So you better think about what you're saying. I said Brian is trying to do some Jedi mind trick with these bitches. Bitch, Uber is crying. Uber is upset. And then all I know, Uber when I tell you Uber went from crying, bitch, all I know is Uber Brian said something and Uber said, and I heard what you text her. I said, bitch. I said, how the hell? Uber went from crying, girl wiping her makeup. When I tell you, baby, Uber face, baby, when I tell you, baby, I don't know who did Uber's makeup. When I tell you Miss Thing was doing all that crying and makeup was still in place, I said, oh, baby, that's a good expensive makeup, girl. But Uber said, I had what you text her. I said, all right. She said that I was violent towards you. And Aaron said, you said you locked the door. I said, oh shit. Did y'all hear where Aaron said that? That's what I'm saying. Like Brian wants to try and act like I just want to protect Uber. I just want to protect Uber. I just want to protect Uber. What Brian is basically trying to say is that I guess she knows, or she's trying to acknowledge that Uber being, I was about to say the only black person on the cast, but y'all get what I'm trying to say. Uber being the black girl on the cast, a dark skinned black woman on the cast, that there could be a difference in how the viewers respond to her. So Brienne tries to paint this picture of she just wants to protect Uber. But Brienne, you do a lot of things that would make me believe that you can't stand the bitch. I personally think, and I don't like to even, I've said that y'all already heard. Some of you have already heard me say this, but I say this. I say this all the time. I don't like to say that people are jealous. I think that's just like a lazy read. I think it's I think it really, you really don't have to put a lot of thought into it, right? I think it happens a lot amongst women. Anytime something happens, the first thing people scream is, "Oh, she must be jealous. Oh, she jealous. Oh, she jealous. Oh, she jealous." It's like, girl. But I really do believe in this scenario that Brienne is jealous of Uber. I think she's envious. I do. I think that Brienne does not understand how Uber has gotten her ass on TV, cussed, acted a fool, and still has managed to pull the fine, rich white man. I think that really makes Bryn's head just spin. Because in her head, if I'm supposed to be the chosen one, if I'm the light skinned, if I'm the preference, then how the hell does she have what I am supposed to have? I'm over here begging my ex fiance for his fucking jizz to have a baby. And he said he would give it to me, and now this motherfucker done up and disappeared. And she over here with this rich white man that moved in with him and everything. I think that Bryn is jealous of Uba, and I think that she's also jealous of Jessel because they have what she wants. I'm not saying she wants Pobbit. That's not what I'm saying. Bryn wants what they want: the marriage, the kids, the lifestyle. You see what I'm saying? I do. I really do believe that. I believe she's envious as hell. I believe she's jealous as hell. I think she's mad about it. Okay, I do. I really do. It'll never sit right with Bryn that Uba, in her way, acts like the angry black woman, even though Bryn is the angry black woman, and you still manage to pull that rich white man, and you pulled a rich white man who actually fine. He don't look like Michael Darby. He ain't some old white man walking around here, girl, half one leg halfway in a grave. Sai told Brand, you weaponize your experience for the downfall of a friend. It's awful. Do you not see the implication of those allegations? I said, come on, bitch. Somebody needs to tell her. Because I've been saying it. Somebody needs to tell Bryn to her face exactly what Sai just said. You weaponize your experience for the downfall of a friend. It is awful. Do you not see the implication of of these allegations? Baby, this is exactly how Bryn looked. Watch your language. I'm not watching a motherfucking thing. Baby, when Uber told Bryn that girl, I forgive you. Girl, I tell you, I was like, damn. When Uber said, I forgive you, she was like, but I don't want to have nothing to do with you. We want to go. I want to go back to. I want to go back to when I didn't know who the fuck you were. I said, oh bitch, come on. Now Uber is a little too forgiving for me. I get it because that's her friend, and it sounds like at one point I feel like you know what Bryn gives me. Bryn gives me the type of girl with Uber that she pretends that she's Uber's friend, but in real life she really is like the girl who's praying for Uber's downfall. She could sit here all I don't give a damn. She could sit here and say that she loves Bryn and she wants to protect Bryn and Bryn. I mean not Bryn. She could say she loves Uber and she wants to protect Uber and Uber is a person who she calls, you know, when serious things happen. But I think when it's all said and done at nighttime, Bryn probably over there with a goddamn doll with pins, sticking pins in a goddamn doll. Hello? Girl, Bryn, you got some work to do. The only reason why I'm low key I have this much empathy and sympathy for Bryn is because I really do. I think Bryn is mentally ill, and I think Bryn has been through a lot, and it makes me feel sad for Bryn. It really does. It really, really does. Like, girl, you are a mess. Like, you are a hot ass mess. Like, girl, I can only be mad at you for so much because I recognize that you are a mess. She says, you guys, this is getting to be too much. Girl, it's not funny. You guys, this is getting to be too much, but it's supposed to be too much. It's supposed to be too much. I want to give the girls their props, so I've said this and I'll say it again. I like the fact that the girls did not wait until after this aired to kind of try to stick it to Bryn. They caught what was happening that night. See, a lot of us, we didn't know about this until it aired. You see what I'm saying? They shot this scene months ago. I mean, they shot the show months ago. They shot the reunion, what, 4, 5, 6 weeks ago. So this was already signed, sealed, and delivered. A lot of the girls on Housewives, what they do is they wait to see what the reaction from the viewers are going to be, and then they take a stance. They had already took their stance prior to this hitting our TV screens. So in a way, I do have to give them props on that, because I don't think I'm gonna go ahead and say I don't think those white girls on the show like that are that goddamn, and like I'm like I don't think they no, I think they really did want to defend Brienne because of how Brienne presented the information. Girl, she really did try to attach her essay to making it seem as though Uber was being insensitive. I don't want to sound insensitive, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Girl, that don't have nothing to do with the price of tea in China. But Brienne knew exactly what she was doing by trying to tie those two things together. She tried to use what happened to her and say that I told Uber, so therefore she should be sensitive about the things she says about my sex life or how I got a job. And in my opinion, you could unfortunately be SA'd and still fuck for a job. I'm not saying that's what Brienne did. I'm just saying that those two things can still exist at the same time. So even when she tried to draw those parallels, I was like, I don't get it. But I knew what she was trying to do. But for me, I was like, girl, that's not, girl, I don't know what you, girl, well, what are you trying to do? I mean, I know what she was trying to do, but like, girl, that's not the same. Well, they don't have nothing to do with nothing. You could be mad at Uber for saying, bitch, you're supposed to be my friend, and now you saying I fuck to get a job. You could be mad about that. But to try, but to try and put those two things together, I was like, no. But she knew that when she tried to put those together and she mentioned what happened to her, that it was going to outweigh. You see what I'm saying? So now the only thing the girls can do is be like, oh my God. Now they're mad at Uber because now Brienne has painted the picture of she's being insensitive, and I told her what happened to me. So now you have to be sensitive to the person who just said that they were hard. And then when Brienne fucked around and told on herself, they were like, hold up, bitch. No, absolutely not. And just like Aaron said on the show, girl, how the fuck will Uber know something like that and I don't even know it? I think the girls were in a fucked up situation. I don't think it had anything to do, please don't take this the wrong way. Okay, I'll just say this. I think the girls were in a messed up situation because of how Brienne framed the conversation. Brienne knew exactly what she was doing. But I think that once the girls figured out that Brienne, this is not no mama, I think they instantly did what was right. That's all I'm gonna say. Um, do you think anyone here doubts that you were SA? That's what Andy asked her. She says, I don't know. All I'm gonna say is this. Let me make sure, girl. I don't want to say the wrong thing. I am someone who chooses to believe a woman when she says that she has been violated. I pray to God that Brienne I hope that Bryn is telling the truth. I'm choosing to believe Bryn, but I can also understand how there could be people out there who question whether or not Bryn could be telling the truth based off of how Bryn has presented herself to be on this show. I hope Bryn is not lying. Uba gets up and hugs Bryn. Um, Aaron says that was very nice of Uba. Sai says, I'm shocked. No, I think she said that was very nice of Uba. I'm shocked. And then I think Sai said same. I think they were really wanting it. I think they really were wanting Uba to like, bitch, don't forget that bitch. Girl, that girl was trying to have us take you down, girl. Um, Sai says in the back, I never want to be that girl's friend. Those allegations could have ruined her. That's what I'm saying. Brian knew what. Let me tell y'all what would have happened. I can tell y'all exactly what would have happened. And this is where the racism, the colorism starts to kick in. If we wouldn't have seen that, if Jessel wouldn't have went and told Uber, and Uber wouldn't have exploded, and that would have never been seen, when this shit would have aired, viewers would have instantly taken Bryn's side, and they would have thrown Uber to the wolves. All they would have heard was Bryn was hard and Uber was being insensitive. That's all they would have heard. Me, I would have been like, well, girl, what they got to do? So for Uber to forgive her, like I've been like, girl, I get, not forgive her, but I get it because Uber and her were friends. But I don't know. I don't think I. Uber told her, listen, girl, I'm gonna need some time. I might need a lot of time, but girl, we'll be okay. Basically, I don't know. It would. I don't know how. I just don't know how I would be because, girl, you. I think those of us. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Those of us who watch Housewives. I'm not a Housewife fanatic. I watch only certain franchises, but I've noticed how the housewife world can be very vicious with the fans. And I have noticed how they do treat sometimes, I'm gonna go ahead and say certain housewives, certain black housewives. And even though Brienne says she identifies as a black woman, I could still see people treating Brienne like the rich white woman and treating Uba like the black woman who came in and fucked up the scene. Anyways, they all huddled together. They feel bad for her. I get it. Uba says she forgives Brienne, but it's going to take her a while, maybe a long time. And then I put was Raquel also hard? It kind of left that in the air for me when she went and she hugged Brienne and blah 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 all that stuff. It sounded like either Raquel could have been also essayed or she knew someone who probably could have been essayed also. Listen, this was a good reunion. Again, I don't. Brienne is a hot ass mess. I don't know where they go from here. A part of me does want Brienne to come back because I want to see how this friend group maneuvers with Brienne. Then a part of me also is like, girl, that bitch is dangerous. Like Brienne, girl, you are tick 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 boom. I don't know. I would not. If I were those, I'll say this much. I don't know because, like I said, they've built a friendship with Brian, so I get it to a certain degree. But I would be very, oh, I don't know. I would not want to film with Brian, at least by myself. I'm saying if I was one of the girls, like I don't really trust her because I see what she's capable of doing. Like, girl, this ain't just no, oh, you really could have fucked up Uber's life by trying to pull the stunt that you pulled. I don't know, Brian. Mm, Brian, girl. I don't know, girl. Uber and girl. That's all I can say is Uber and girl. Y'all think Brian should come back? Or do you think she should be terminated? I do want to see them. I do want to see how they work Brian next season if she comes back. But then it's also like, girl, I don't know, girl. I don't know. I keep saying the same thing. I don't know. If Brian comes back, she comes back. If she doesn't, she doesn't. If she comes back, I guess. If she doesn't come back, I guess. I understand either. I would understand either side. I could understand if they said, no, girl, you can't come back. But I could also understand if they said, hey, girl, come back. Because we want to see the aftermath. You see what I'm saying? Like, to me, it's kind of like Portia, Phaedra, and Candy. I wish I wish Phaedra would have came back. Even though what she did, her and Portia did was low down dirty and really could have fucked up Candy and Todd. I wanted to see the aftermath. I wanted to see how this group moved with what just happened. You see, I guess that's the I want to see how this group moves with what they the stunt they saw Brian just try and pull. Has Brian really put in the work to try and change her fucked up ways? Anyways, I'm gone. I'll talk to y'all later. Have a good night. Good day. Bye y'all.